Oh man, hold on. Let me take this down real quick. Let me see. I believe it's this, right? No, it's not that. Oh, okay. Take this down. Forgive me. Forgive me. Let me put this up. Let me put my ads up here. As you know, this is politics as usual. Oh, you're gritty with your boy Juice Warner. Don't forget, check out the book Street Scalzi, Knock 'em Out the Box. Right? So, yeah, grand strains and all of that. I've been away for a while, so I'm not really, on point. But I wanted to come back and, start doing some shows. But right now, I just wanted to, issue out some warnings, for black people. I know there's a lot of black people under this strange impression that I'm the racist one, and I tell them there's no way for a black person to be racist. Now, meaning that we cannot control, other people's, destinies within the United States. There could be black people prejudice in, Africa and shit like that, because they can, dictate, the lifestyle of an individual or individuals, right? So me in America, I tell people, no, I'm not racist. Right. I can be prejudiced. Sure, I can have prejudice against anybody, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with race. Right. But that's not the case. When I give warnings to black people about white people, the Greeks, the Jews, whatever, title they want to hide behind. Because I don't, through my research, I try not to say the Jews in the sense of, from the Middle East, right? I'm saying those who infiltrated and took over that system, and so I refer to the Greeks, right? So anyway, as we dealing with this, as you know, I don't agree with the term white supremacy. I've never used it. Matter of fact, you see more people through time start telling you that there's no such thing as white supremacy. It's just, black people being cowards, should I say. Afraid of white people or bowing down to them due to the fact of their control of things. Controlling something does not make you supreme. You know what I mean? That's a mentality that's been given to our people through technology. I call it hypnotism and mesmerism. So, that's that. And with the help of our people, involved in the trickery, right? But they are working for, these individuals, these Greeks, and I'll be doing more shows breaking it down as well. So what I wanted to talk about today is, the 4th of July is tomorrow. A lot of black people, we have two conflicts. We have a conflict within us, which is usually aided and abetted by the agents of these people, going in and keeping conflicts brewing within our people, right? So we have that. Not saying that there's nobody within our people who don't just naturally have conflicts with other people, But when you see it in these mass numbers, trust and believe there's an outside agent who's facilitating this situation. Forgive me. Got an itchy nose here. So what I'm about to do is I'm gonna get y'all, up on game, right? So I wanted to really address what's going on in the news, right? To let you know, stay on point from the agents within our community and the agents on the outside, right? So we're gonna bring this up. I'm gonna hold on. Let me bring my stream deck over here. So we can pull up the news, right? So, forgive whoever this is, I don't know, right? It says, protesters again gather Saturday in Akron, Ohio, a day before the release of video footage showing the fatal police shooting of a black motorist. A shooting that has rocked the city and outraged racial justice advocates. Now I forgot. See, I wasn't really using this. I was using my word, and then penning this because y'all can't really see, which what I'm reading. Anyway, this is from USA Today, right? So it goes, demonstrators have now, where we at? On Saturday afternoon, a crowd of demonstrators with signs and megaphones assembled outside the city courthouse after 3 p.m. Some chanted, "No justice, no peace, prosecute the police." Yeah, you know how I feel about that. I'm not with all of that. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be voices for that, but if y'all can take action for the abortions and y'all not playing with that, then I don't feel that this is a time for this frivolous foolishness. That's just me. You know what I mean? If you can show that you willing to fight to kill babies, then you willing to fight to keep the people who's alive. That's just how I feel. Demonstrators have been gathering for 4 straight days this week, demanding police accountability after officers shoot and kill Jalen Walker, 25, on Monday as he fled a minor traffic stop. Now this is what I'm saying. Me personally, if the people are not on board, like if you have not stepped away from, I'm not saying that nobody could never have, because I have, involved myself in black on black disputes, right? But if you were not showing a willingness to leave that life alone, now we know within our community we have Cains. I'm talking about Minister Society, robbing you and putting the gun in your head. Oh, you with that black shit, and you gotta handle those situations as they come. So we have a catch-22. We have people within our community who don't care about blackness, and so those people should be exited from our concerns. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you step away from a train of thought and action, then you are welcome within this fold. But as you are embracing that or ignoring our plight, meaning that you just don't care, you know what I mean, then again, you were not with us because you are promoting that, even if you're not directly involving yourself. Like I tell people, when Tupac got killed, when he first got shot, I didn't listen to, when he came from jail, I wasn't listening to All Eyes on Me, Me Against the World. Actually at that time, I kind of like just really wasn't into none of it. So people might think, oh, I had a conflict with, Biggie, and nah, I, didn't approve of him. But his second album was official. I can't deny that. But, at that time, I just wasn't with that. So you can see how long I have not been with it. Now, not to say I didn't go to jail for, the conflicts within our community, right? So I know that for certain situations, it's impossible for you to be, quote unquote, pro-black. I'm not pro-black. I'm a black militant. You know what I'm saying? I put it out there. I'm, black revolutionist. So for me, I understand that there is a conflict within our people. And so I'm not foolish, and I'm not on that, everybody is on this fold, when we know that there's more people who gravitate to ignorance, and it's easier to be ignorant within your community. Stop snitching, and all of these promotions are not promotions of peace within the community. It's the predator using that to violate the people. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not with that either, and I will handle those people and myself when it's needed. So I'm not, foolish. But as you see, what my agenda is not to be conflicting with my people. It's not to promote it. I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm not foolish. Any day I walk out my house, I can be in a situation where it's black on black. Most likely, I will wind up in a position of black on black than white on black or black on white. Just a fact of life right now, right? So, with that being said, for me, right, I just feel like, I'm just looking at the time, right? If we are going to assemble, right? Me, I'm supporting New Era movement, to the fullest, and others. But for me, that's like my forefront organization, that I back, right? So, with that, I'm saying if the people are not, for it, for the people, then I guess, marching and protesting for them is cool. But if they really for the people and anything happens to them, I'm telling you, there should be the same actions that you would do for, my body, my choice, and destroying a life that was placed inside you. That sperm is alive. So from the minute it reaches the egg, you have created life to start. Now, it might not, always make it through, but that's just a fact of life that I know. So if you can go fight for that, then you can go fight for this, right? The Akron Police Department is expecting to provide details of the shooting, including body camera footage, at the Sunday news conference alongside the city's mayor. The footage will also be released at that time. Akron Police Chief Steve Maillet, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, told the Akron Beacon Journal, part of the USA Today network, that the department will release all body cam footage in the shooting rather than just the 3 videos required by law. He added that the footage will be shown to Walker's family before it's released to the public. The shooting is the 3rd fatal shooting by police officers in 6 months in the city of about 200,000 residents that is located about 30 miles from Cleveland. Right? So, 3 fatal shootings in a 6-month time. I just don't see protesting and, those type of things when you can be up in front of a judge's houses, telling them about how they wrong. Let me let you know, I support, the overturn of Roe versus Wade. Matter of fact, I say no more death row. You know what I mean? So that's me. I've never supported abortions. I remember my niece one time, was telling me about how, family members, not naming no names, was promoting that to her. And I guess me not wanting to be argumentative, I was just telling her in a nice way that it's your choice. And I guess she took that as me, implying that she should do it too, because I'm usually straightforward, but I just wasn't trying to be combative. Certain things it's not for me to argue. It's for you, to make that decision. I'm very happy that she didn't go through with it. And, so when she was pregnant, I was always there for her. Like, I don't care if she called me at 3:00 in the morning. I was in college, and I'm answering that phone. I was being there, for her. You know what I mean? Because that's my way of showing that I promote you and I'm happy for your choice. So with that being said, this is just one part. I'm gonna go through the rest of these other things more quicker. Because we're about to take a break into about 2 minutes, right? So let me go over here to the next headline, right? Far right Patriot Front. Let me pull this up right here. It goes, far right Patriot Front rally in Boston for 4th of July. Report of black man injured, right? And I read this because I'm always telling people, listen, stay on point. I know you thinking, oh, I'm the radical, but no, I always paid attention and always understood the science of the white man in America. Well, around the world, but I'm in America, so always understood their logic. I just started breaking down how they do it through hypnotism and mesmerism, and how they use, the black Freemasons, the Eastern Stars, to pull this off, right? So, with that being said, guess I'm gonna get into this for you, right? It says dozens of members in the far-right group Patriot Front marched through Boston on Saturday. The group is known to stage marches to coincidence with Mayor major U.S. holidays such as the 4th of July. The ADL says Patriot Front is a white supremacist group focused on preserving U.S. identity and European Americans. I've told you what the Scottish Rite is. This is all still a part of that global push, right? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be doing more shows on that to break down. Cause I still gotta finish up things. I just needed a break. It was getting hot, and I just needed a break. I'm back, right? We're about to take a break in 15 seconds. We'll be back after that break. Stay tuned for more. Peace, we're back. All right, put my ad back up here. All right. So, as we get into this, since we know we're going into Boston, I wanted to talk about, Benzino real quick. Anybody know, I don't really listen to much of that, that gangster rap. I really was, in the streets. I never, found that promotion, that hypnotism to be appealing. I like, people like Kool G Rap and stuff like that because it was always lyrical. It wasn't for me taking it as go out there and, this is my lifestyle, and it was just entertainment. You know what I mean? And hoodlum graphical way. Just loved his wordplay, but for the most part, like Mobb Deep and stuff like that, I never liked that stuff. I never watched The Corner and The Wire. I think The Wire, I tried to watch an episode or two and kept it pushing, like Oz, and never was into any of that stuff. So and this is growing up, so this is not something that I was on right now. It's just always been me. People would be like, damn, you in the streets and you don't like that? Yeah, nah, because, most of the time, this is how you wind up in those conflicts, right? So let me slide over here and bring this up, right? Like I said, I wanted to always... I wanted to give a shout out to Benzino because he's always told you how racist Boston is. People, he got involved in all of that. I guess the trans stuff and all of that. So I don't know what's going on with him. I just know whenever he talked about Boston, he let you know it was racist, and that's what I'm paying attention to. All the rest of that, I don't really give two shits. So anyway, dozens of far-right Patriots Front members chose the 4th of July weekend to march through downtown Boston on Saturday. The video posted on social media, the mass demonstrators marched to a drum beat, carrying flags with the group's logo and shield and wearing their signature khaki pants, navy polo shirts with baseball caps. Keep that in mind. So whenever you see, the khaki pants and, polo shirts and baseball caps, hey, I'm just letting you know. The video posted on social media, the mass demonstrators marched. Wait, my fault. Most of the marchers had their faces covered with sunglasses and white clothing or coverings around their nose and mouth. The demonstrators was about 100 strong. Right? Anti-Defamation League described Patriot Front as a white supremacist group who are focused on preserving America's identity as a European American one. Patriot Front marching alongside the Freedom Trail on the 4th of July holiday weekend is an insult to all who fought for freedom. How is it an insult, for those who fought for freedom when black people was still enslaved during the Revolutionary War, even though they fought in the Revolutionary War, right? So, George Washington owned slaves. Matter of fact, his false teeth were from slaves. So when they talking about they're preserving it, I agree with, the Patriot Front guys, more than I agree with the new narrative of, the 4th of July and this fighting for freedom bullshit. Right? Pardon me. Right? And all I gotta remember, keep the, the cursing now. Right? Let me see. For freedom, on the Patriot marching alongside. Okay. For freedom, equality, justice, Robert Trichet, whatever. The director of the ADL New England said on Twitter, right? Patriot Front is known to stage marches and coincident and concluded with significant American holidays such as the 4th of July, right? The marchers arrived in the area around 2:30 p.m. and began unloading shields and flags from a truck, according to the Boston Herald. Along with flags and their logo, many carried Betsy Ross flags, which have just 13 stars in a circle to represent the original U.S. colonies. There was slavery in those times. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the editor, whoever wrote this, they could try to paint a picture, but reality is these people are holding on to what it was. Okay? Some carried American flags upside down, which conveys their belief that the nation is in distress. In one of the videos posted on social media, a Patriot Front speaker can be heard addressing the crowd with a microphone. Our current state neither represents the people, the nation, or virtues. They rip children from wombs and sell the ground beneath your feet to foreigners, and then they tell you it's justice, the man says. At one point, suspected members of the group clashed with a black man seen in photographs taken by the Boston Herald. The Boston Police Department received a report of an adult black male injured in a confrontation with Patriot Front's members, the paper reported. The man told police he was knocked to the ground and assaulted by members of the group, resulting in lacerations to his right ring finger and others to his head and eyebrow. Sergeant Detective John Boyle told the Boston Herald the man was taken to the hospital. Police are actively conducting a civil rights investigation and no arrest has been made, the paper reported. Of course no arrest has been made. Why would they? Most of them are probably, police officers too. Notice what I said, probably, right? Boston Mayor Michelle Wu addresses the group in a tweet. To the white supremacists who ran through downtown today, when we march, we don't hide our faces. We hate is a cowardly as is disgusting, and it goes against all that Boston stands for. Stop it. Boston is very, very racist. Don't let these people fool you. Patriot Front broke off from the white nationalist group Vanguard America after the notorious Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017 that resulted in the death of counter-protester Heather Heyer. Right? So that just means that they, try to act like we're not the same. They all still down with it. The group often stage marches through cities around the country, frequently appearing in anti-abortion events. See, so on one side, you can't be mad at them. I'm an anti-abortionist. I'm not with the abortion movement, but I still understand these devils and their ways in action, right? Last March, 31 extremist Patriot Front group's members were arrested outside an Idaho Pride event after being seen loading into U-Haul looking like a little army. All right, so this is what we have here. All right, so we're going to go on to the next story, all right, which is, let's go to Texas Board of Education strikes down proposal to call slavery involuntary relocation. I gotta laugh this off, man. You know what I mean? It's like, what's going on, people? What's going on? The Texas Board of Education strikes down proposal to call slavery involuntary relocation. It sounds like some Kanye West, logic, and y'all went out and bought his stuff and still support him. Right? I don't support Kim Kardashian, but I damn sure don't support Kanye West either. Right? A proposal by Texas state educators to call slavery involuntary relocation in second grade classes has been rejected by the State Board of Education. The proposal, first reported by the Texas Tribune, was introduced at the board's June 15th meeting. Throughout the summer, the board will consider several curriculums updates to comply with lawmakers' requirements to keep subjects that make students uncomfortable out of the schools. So we shouldn't even be talking about slavery at all, because black people feel uncomfortable about that, right? So now you can't, it's like you are doing whatever it takes to help, the far right Patriot Front groups and all of them. You don't want the truth out, right? 9 educators, including a professor from University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, were behind the suggested language change. Trump led Biden in hypothetical 2000, no, something else. The Tribune, let me bring this down. Okay, where we at? The Tribune reported the proposal was sacked down at the board unanimously. Right? While involuntary relocation isn't the entirely unknown term of social studies, it often has relationships to refugees, enforced displacement due to violence, or ethical cleansing, said Neil Shanks, clinical assistant professor of middle and secondary education at Baylor University. In this case, Shanks added the term appeared to be intended to water down the issue of slavery. I agree, that's what it sounds like. A draft calling to describe slavery as involuntary relocation in Texas classroom has sent back to be reworked. Teachers may not be compelled to discuss a particular current event or widely debated and currently controversial issues of public policies and or social affairs. In a statement posted, got 5 minutes, posted to Twitter, the Texas Education Agency said the board provided feedback in the meeting indicating that the working group needed to change the language related to involuntary relocation. Any assertion of the SBEO is considering downplaying the role of slavery in American history is completely inaccurate, the statement concluded, which is a fact. The minute you try to make this seem like it's anything other than what it was, Now you can call them political prisoners. I'm with it. You can call them prisoners of war. I'm with it. If you want to change it from slavery to prisoners of war, hey, you got my backing. You know what I'm saying? That's about as far as I'm gonna give you. The suggested language change comes a year after Governor Greg Abbott, Republican, signed House Bill 3979 into law. That law, which went into effect last September, prohibits schools from teaching critical race theory curriculums. Critical race theory examines how the history of race and racism in the U.S. continue to impact systems and institutions today. From the social studies perspective, said Shank, talking about slavery as involuntary relocation, I don't know what that is. Sophisticated, the way that slavery as a system is embedded in so many aspects of our lives. Hell, this conversation. the signing of not even be allowed to talk about it is this all in one. From this this includes the way slavery is embedded in criminal justice systems, the economic system, and even electoral colleges, he says. But in December, yet Another Texas law forbid instruction from teaching slavery as a true founding of the United States. It also advised slavery as well as racism is a devotion from the authentic founding principles of liberty and equality. All they doing is just getting in front of it. You have to teach your children, and so let them go inside there and constantly combat. That's what I used to do when I was in school. I would combat the things that was being taught. That's why I was kicked out and put in, special ed and all of that, because I was combating that. I wasn't standing up to do no pledge of allegiance and none of that stuff. I just wasn't me. You know what I mean? Because I already knew the truth. So you got to teach your children the truth and allow them to go up inside school. And as long as it's based on these type of things, don't condemn them. Let them go in them schools and speak the truth. Right? But while many may question if slavery is an appropriate topic to discuss in elementary schools, Shanks believe if children is young enough to be affected by, in the case, the history of slavery or the institution of slavery or the ways it embedded in our society, then they're young enough to learn about it. That's just a fact. We're about to take a break in another 20 seconds. But he added students are adapt to seeing the world around them and asking questions based on their observation. If their school curriculum is painting a picture of the world that frees of injustice, Shank argues students will be one of two things. Let me just finish up what he was saying. He added students adapt to seeing the world around them, right? Asking questions based on their observation. If their school curriculum is painting a picture of the world that's free of injustice, Shank argues students will be more one of two things. They either think badly about people who are struggling and suffering because of injustice, he said, or they reject school and curriculum that's being taught to them as something that's not real or relevant because they can see with their own eyes the ramifications of this. So like I said, the teachers ain't gotta teach it. You teach it. And you just, whenever your kids, for everything that they bring up, make it black, make it slavery, make it so when they do their reports, this is what they say. And if they get in trouble for it, then fine. That's just what it is. After every student, black student, must go up there and do that. If white students agree, let them go up there as well. If Latino students, and they got their history, they need to do the same thing, and we must just not care and let our students, our children voice their history and let it be known that they know. So every book report, every school plays, all of that, allow them to get the message out and stop, limiting the children from acknowledging their history and making, those around them acknowledge it as well. Can't run from the truth. All right, so this is the last one I got right here. Bring this up for you. Right? Maryland, Virginia governor responds to letters from Supreme Court marshals, right, calling on them to protect justices, right? The Republican governors of Virginia and Maryland have responded to a letter from the Supreme Court's top-ranking security official calling on them to utilize police and law enforcement to prevent picketing at the homes of justice. Like I said, you can go and, argue and fight for this, but yet and still, when we are getting gunned down, you want to hold little signs and don't take it to this. Why you ain't at these police officers' houses? Why you ain't protesting them and saying nah? And the DA who's defending this, the judge who's holding it, let them know, we know who you are. We know who you are, and we're not going to allow you to sugarcoat what is happening to us. Right? The governor agrees with the marshals that the threatening activity outside of Justice's home has increased. See, now that's threatening, right? Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, spokesperson Christian Martinez, said in response to a letter from Supreme Court Marshal Gal Curley, right, calling on the governor to enforce state laws that prohibit picketing outside of homes of the justices. Right? We welcome the marshals of the Supreme Court's request for Fairfax County to enforce state laws, as they are the primary enforcement authority of the state statute, the statement added. Youngkin also called on Attorney General, right, Merrick Garland to do his job by enforcing the much more robust federal law, right? Every resource of federal law enforcement, including the U.S. Marshals, should be involved while the justice continues to be denied the right to live peacefully in their homes, the statement said. Right? And this is what I'm saying. If you can fight, for people killing children off, right, which is, your extension of you, then you could fight for the people who's already been on this planet and breathing. It's the same thing to me. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan also received a letter from Curley requesting that the Maryland State Police, in conjunction with local authorities, as appropriate, enforce laws that prohibit picketing outside the homes of Supreme Court justices who live in Maryland. Right? Hogan's director of communication, Michael Rickey, right, responded to the letter in a Twitter post and also pointed the finger at Garland. 2 months ago, Governor Hogan and Governor Youngkin sent a letter calling on Attorney General Garland to enforce the clear an unambiguous federal statute on the books that prohibit picketing at judges' residence, Rickey wrote. A month later, hours after the assassination attempt on Justice, Kavanaugh, I believe that's how you say it, the Department of Justice finally responded, declining to enforce the law. The statement continues. Now a different federal official is writing to us with conflicting information. Had the marshals taken the time to explore the matter, she would have learned that the constitutionals of the statute cites in her letter has been questioned by the Maryland Attorney General's office. Rickey added that Hogan has instructed Maryland State Police to further review law enforcement options in light of the continued referral by multiple federal entities to act. Last month, 26-year-old Nicholas Roski arrived at Supreme Court Justice Barrett Kinvill's Maryland home with designs on killing Kavanaugh and then himself, prosecutors said. Roski ended giving himself up without harming anybody. Right? Hogan, along with Youngkin, have called on the Department of Justice to enforce the federal statute that prohibits protests, pickets, and other forms of intimidation outside the home of justices. So this is considered intimidation. It is illegal under federal law to attempt to influence a judge ruling or interfere with the discharge of their duties. The Justice Department, however, has thus far refused to interfere with demonstrators outside the home of several Supreme Court justices, including Clarence Thomas, Amy Coney Barrett, and Brett Kavanaugh. While the Department of Justice provided security at the justices' homes, they have allowed protests and picketing to continue unimpeded. Because, there's two systems, right? There's two systems going on. One, is those who's calling the shots. And so, I'll get into all of that at another time. Because, I hate saying things and it doesn't really seem to have nothing to it. So you become this conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy revealist. And I tell you all the time, if you ever hear that, you got that from me. I came up with a conspiracy revealist because I spend the time to do the research and find the information to provide it to you. All right, so let me go back over here. my fault. Yeah, I don't, put my eyes back up here. Politics as usual. All right. So me myself, I'm with, okay, if you can use these strategies over here, then it should be right to use them over there. If the law is looking the other way for Supreme Court justices, then these police officers and these people who are actually involved firsthand. See, I can understand you saying you'll leave the judge alone. He's not, as far as the Supreme Court justices, they making a decision of what was put in front of them, right? From around the country, the nation, not necessarily a individual, like in Ohio in the police. Like they are actually involved in the situation. You standing there with protests down at City Hall when you should be at these offices and whatnot, houses, and let them know, listen, we know who you are. We know what you did. That's just what I'm saying. If you're gonna make these actions, then this should be how you address it. I'm looking for my clock, making sure we're still clicking. All right, we got 6 minutes left, and I'm up out of here. Like I said, I wanted to do a short one. This is not a long one. I'm just here for the short term. All right, and but then I'm gonna be back. I got some new shows coming up, more documentary stuff, as you know, until I can, get a some guest, and then I can start engaging and taking it, that way. But for right now, I'm just enjoying it, doing it this way. I'm happy to be back. Happy to just give y'all the jewels. So like I said, 2 black people, if you want to be heard, you need to allow the areas of preventing you from being heard to be addressed. If they are teaching your kids something, allow your kids to address it. If you telling them, oh, they'll get in trouble for that, whatever, then okay, we accept that. But I'd rather my sons and daughters, nieces and nephews, grandnieces and nephews and all of that, the ability to reveal. They need the right to let the world know that they know. The game of playing like you don't understand the psychological game that's being played. That's what I address, the psychology of what's being played on our people. You call it hypnotism, mesmerism, whatever, but that's the game that's being played. It's psychological. If we ain't saying it, then it ain't real. Then after a while, more people, just submit. And so you have a small group that's looking like they just fighting for nothing. So, that's where I'm at with it. Let them shine. Let that little light shine and let them address the system. I'm just looking at the camera, just seeing how it look. All right. So this is where I'm at with it. If we can make it difficult for Supreme Court judges simply for not wanting abortion, addressing the smash keyboard crew, too many letters for me to be throwing him out there anyway. So if that can be the plight, then this can be our plight as well. We can use the same tactics, but for those who want life and those whose lives have been taken. I feel like the same way you out in front of these judges, houses, I believe those anti up there pushing back and letting it be known you are not gonna be intimidating these people. And then you got a line that's being drawn in America. There's like 4 lines. To be honest with you, at least. We have the L, them. We have which is a part of the abortion crew. We have the black plight, and inside that we have, then we have that inside all. It's true. It's so many directions. At this point, us as black people need to step aside and worry about us as a whole. The smash keyboards, the feminists, the chauvinists, everybody, we need to just have our own sit down or brawl, whatever. But we need to address it within our people. We need to understand that at the end of the day, all of the fighting that we do with inside us, they all working against us anyway. So after that, you can see who sold out, how we got to the position that we are in. Got a minute left here, and then I'ma slide out. Matter of fact, I'ma just end this now. I think I said what I needed to say. Peace, people. Stay on point. We up out of here.